Right, okay. We're live on YouTube and on TikTok. Okay, let me just arrange the screen. Oh. Can you all hear me? Right, I have to, I don't have to, I usually wait for about 3 minutes for people to come in, because TikTok has to gather people, because I usually don't tell people that I'm coming live. I just come on. Let's go to change now. Okay, the title of this topic is, if you're on YouTube, it's 14 reasons to tell that you're blueprinted to thrive in the area of sex and sexuality. The reason why I'm lowering my voice is I don't know what the restrictions are now on YouTube and hello and on TikTok. It's just that I want to be careful. I don't want to be banned by TikTok, because yesterday, they sent me, they was going to ban me because of my video for 7 days. This is not the first time this has happened anyway. Because of my topics, I talk about female sexuality. That's my purpose. I try to run away from it. I try to ignore it. For 4 years, I've been running away from this since I knew about it, just, focusing on other things because I was scared. I was terrified to talk about it. And I always keep going round and round and round, and I come right back to it. And it feels like my instincts, my higher self has been telling me, you want to be stubborn. Because stubbornness is really part of my characteristics, one of my characteristics. So I feel like my instincts, my higher self is telling me, you want to be stubborn. You want to not listen. You want to do what you want. You're always going to come back to this, talking about in the area of female sexuality, because you're blueprinted to thrive in that area. That's your purpose on this planet. Now you can go off if you want and do whatever you want, but we're always going to bring you back, and you're not going to be fulfilled until you do this. It's always going to be at the back of your mind. So trust and believe that I've run away from this. I was terrified. I didn't want to talk about it because I know of the persecution that comes with it. People calling you a whore, people not understanding what you're talking about, people thinking you are encouraging women to be whores and like bad, which is not really that's not what it is. But it's just the way the world sees female sexuality. And if you're blueprinted to thrive in that area, you cannot help but do that. It's always going to be at the back of your mind. So the title of this video, like I said, I'm just going to read the one that's on YouTube, because on TikTok I can only write a few letters. Like for the type, they only allow you like about 100 letters or something, 100 characters. So I can't write the full title, but the full title is 14 ways to tell that you are blueprinted to thrive. 14 ways to tell that you are blueprinted to thrive in the area of sex and sexuality. And this is for women who are in their 30s and in their 40s and upwards. And the reason why it's women in that age, it's because it's going to take you quite a while before you figure this out. Now, some women may figure it out like earlier than that, like in their 20s, but it's a little bit rare for women to do that, because of the way our society, our current system is set up. The patriarchy is very averse to any kind of female sexuality, any kind of like talking about women and their bodies, women owning their bodies, women being sovereign in their bodies, women being free in their bodies enough to talk about sex and sexuality and gaining sovereignty over their sex. So because of the history of this, women run away from this. Women don't want to talk about it because we remember the times when women were burned at the stake for being sexual, for having the knowledge of herbs, having the knowledge of spirituality, We remember that. We remember the times, what happened to Joan of Arc. We remember what happened to all the women that came before us who were persecuted because of their sexuality, because of their sexual power that they had, that their magnetism. Um, Women were drowned. Women were like cut off from their families, their kids taken away from them, you know, beaten, killed, lynched. We remember that in our DNA. We remember it in our cellular memory as women. So that's why we run away from it. But if you are blueprinted to thrive in that area, if you are blueprinted to teach in this area of female sexuality, if you are blueprinted to work in that area, it means your life history will show you that. And I'm going to tell you the things to watch out for. And you have to understand that there are certain women, this is not for all women, not all women have experienced this. There are certain women that are blueprinted to anchor the feminine, anchor the energy of female creation on this planet. And female creation or like feminine creation is anchored, is the potency of it is in our sexuality. Our creation power is in our sexuality, it's in our sexuality, in our sacral chakra. So that's where the bulk of it is. So there are certain women that are blueprinted with that. No matter what's going on in the world, no matter what system we have right now, no matter what it is, there are certain women that have that. They're just born with that, And this is not something that you learn in school. This is not something that you read in a book. This is something that these women, they just know. You know it. You may run away from it, even if you're married. Even if you're married, like I've been married before for 14 years. Even if you, I don't know, go and do have a job I don't know, in the government or whatever you're doing, you know it. You know it. You can feel it, and you are drawn to it in certain ways. So that's part of your purpose here, and your fulfillment, your true fulfillment, and your true wealth is going to come from that area. Okay. So this also means that you cannot. The first thing you have to realize is that you're not the same as other women. That's the first sign that you're gonna see. You have to separate yourself from regular women because regular women, the things that they move towards, like the desires they have, like getting married, and you may not necessarily have that desire, like getting married or staying in a marriage, or like being overly obsessed about being in a relationship with one man, or like things like that, like things what they say normal, that's normal. You will not be attracted to that. That's the first sign that you have to recognize about yourself. Your difference, and you will be misdiagnosed from the beginning. People will think that you're wrong. People will think that you're not normal, you're crazy, or people will think that you maybe want too much, or you have your head in the clouds, or you are disconnected from reality, or like you'll be seen as somebody who's not normal, like normal in the sense of like you don't want the things that other women want. That's because you're not the same. You're not blueprint. Your blueprint is not the same. You're not the bulk of your power lies in your body, in your sexual body, not in your brain. You don't thrive that much using your brain power. The bulk of your power lies in your body, and therefore you have to understand the body. You have to understand how the body speaks to you. That's just one part of it, but it's a major part. And so that's the one thing that you have to stop trying to be understood. You have to just do what you're here to do, and stop trying to get people to understand you, because nobody will understand you. The only people that will understand you are women like you, women that are blueprinted like you, and men that are also blueprinted like that. But other than that, you will have very distinct experiences from other people. Okay, so let me just go ahead with it. So I have to speak about certain things, and I'm going to apologize beforehand if this is triggering to you. because I know at one time it was triggering for me, because I have to talk about the specific things that you have to look out for if you're blueprinted like this. And it might bring up some memories, but you have to understand that this is not your, it's not your, it shouldn't make you feel small like the world says it should be. Let me give you an example. The very first thing is that you had a very traumatic sexual experience. Either you were raped, I don't want to say the word because I'm online, and these social media channels, they'll just ban you. Either that, or you were circumcised. You had this very distinct, like I was, very distinct traumatic experience, or it was something else, but it was related to your sex. Maybe even if you were kidnapped, things like that, and you will know whatever it was. This is why I had to apologize beforehand, because I know I can be triggering. And this traumatic sexual experience impacted you a lot. It impacted you a lot because it went on to define what you were interested in. It went on to define what you want to do with your life. Maybe you had a job later on to work in that area, or to work to prevent other women from experiencing that, or you were drawn to things about that sexual experience, that traumatic sexual experience. So, because it was traumatic to you, the world will tell you that, and we've all been like raised like that. The world will tell you that, oh, this is a thing. This is going to keep you. We're very sorry for you. You have to, it's like they feel sorry for you. Like it's like a thing that keeps you small. It's like an unfortunate incident. And yes, it's all of that. But for you, it was an initiation. And this is what I want you to understand, especially if you're this woman. Because the world doesn't even understand what initiation, the world we live in, we don't even understand what initiation is, and we don't understand how people get initiated. And the way you as a woman that's supposed to anchor this female sexuality and this female creation power on this planet are going to be initiated, it's going to be in that area. So how are you going to be initiated in that area when you were young if it's not through a sexual experience? It has to be anchored in your body. How is it going to be anchored in your body if it's not through that traumatic sexual experience? And I know this is very, it's very different from what you've heard from psychologists and things like that. But I don't listen to those people, because most of the psychologists, they were trained in the Western way and trained to read books and all that. This is something that is known, and because the world doesn't know how initiation happens, you're gonna be like seen as something. You're gonna be made to seem like it's an unfortunate incident, which it was, but it's also where your power is. It's also where your power is, and that's why it impacted you more than another person, another woman who went through that experience. And you spent a large part of your life trying to gain power from it. You probably went on, and I'm just going to go on to talk about the things that you should look out for. You probably went on to become the quiet girl, the quiet girl who's promiscuous, secretly promiscuous. Like, you're quiet. Hello, everyone. You're quiet. Your family knows you as quiet. People know you as quiet, but you're secretly, promiscuous, because you're trying to gain understanding from that area in your life. And so that's how it impacted you. Or you became this boisterous, outgoing young girl, who was super comfortable in the company of men. You became so comfortable in the company of men, young boys, young men, and you even you were the one who will even initiate sex. It made you hypersexual in that way. Or you became very hyper conscious about sexuality. You became very conscious about, very interested in sex, like animals having sex, like cats having sex. You were curious about it, like that particular area, cats having sex. All of this happened to me, so I know what I'm talking about. cats having sex, you were curious about how do cats have sex? How do dogs have sex? Like animals having sex. And you were young, maybe you didn't know about, like, you didn't know what it was about, but you were just curious about that area. So that's part of your blueprint. It's showing you, that's a part that's showing you that this is what you're supposed to be doing. This is your part of your purpose on this earth, because you even started young. You also probably started masturbating very early, probably like 9 years old, as early as 9 years old, or 10 years old. You know, some women, I thought every woman masturbated. I just knew that just recently. It's just that I think just like about 5 years ago, that's when I knew. I thought every woman masturbated. But when I talk to women, like, some women know. But for you, you probably started very early masturbating because you were discovering your body and you were discovering your sexuality. And so you started masturbating very, very early. Like as early as 9 years old, 10 years old. You also became very super interested in the human anatomy, and in reading erotica like books that are about sex and sexuality, even though your parents will hide them from you, but you kind of figured out how to get, if you like reading. If you don't like reading, is maybe you like drawing or like looking at pictures, magazines. It's just the female, not the female anatomy, the human anatomy, like the man's reproductive system and the woman's reproductive system. This is all your hyper consciousness or hyper curiosity about sex and sexuality coming out of you, because your body system is trying to figure out what this is. It's like you're trying to get power from it, but because you're young, you don't know, you're just curious about this particular area. You may also have dolls. I don't know whether you guys have had dolls when you were young, like playing with dolls, and naked dolls. Like you would have these dolls that you take their clothes off and start playing with them, but you'll be conscious about playing with like naked dolls or looking at their anatomy and all that. You could have also become withdrawn because of that. But your curiosity about sex didn't go away. Just because someone is withdrawn doesn't mean that their curiosity about like sex, all of this is because of the shame we have about sex. So we don't even recognize things that are happening with women and with people in general, but specifically with women. If you've been a woman that's experienced men wanting to touch you all the time, like this happened to me all the time. Like when you were young, just men wanting to touch you, even women wanting to touch you, wanting to be close to you. This happened to me even when I was older. You know, when I started working, you know, every single one of my bosses tried to touch me, tried to like push me against the wall, tried to like, you know, I was like 17 years old when I started working. Yeah, all the time. All of these male bosses, like all of them were married, but they still had this kind of draw towards me. If you're a woman that has had that, not just during work, but also family members, like those uncles, um, um, colleagues, even friends sometimes, like older people that we grew up with, like maybe your friends, I don't know, your friends, your mom's friends, family that you go to play with in other houses, people wanting to touch you all the time, like wanting to like are curious about your body. It's because they're trying to tap into that. They're trying to tap into your magnetism. You're young, of course, you don't know what it is, but that draw is there. So I'm just telling you all of these things for you to know that if you've experienced all of this, or like more than 2 or 3 that I've mentioned already, you are blueprinted to work in the area of sex and sexuality. If you also probably became passionate about working in the area of trauma. If you have any questions, you can just ask. I'll just go back to look at your questions. Or if anyone has something that resonates, I know this is a sensitive topic. People don't like talking about sex for some reason. But you know, we are human beings. You know, human beings do have sex. So it's just part of our nature. Okay, you also you probably became passionate about working in the area of that trauma. Because I was circumcised, I went on to work in a charity organization where that charity organization, one of the main things that they were working on is to eradicate FGM, which is female genital mutilation. So I was I headed the unit. I headed the unit that was in that area, and I used to travel to like lots of countries in the in Africa and also in Europe. That was before I came to the UK, and I was teaching about this. And I also used to travel to in the Gambia we call them hinterlands, the hinterlands, because we had projects there teaching women about this. But I was passionate about it because I experienced it. Okay, so not every woman is going to be passionate about her sexual traumatic experience, because if they are not blueprinted like that, they're just gonna maybe forget it, or it won't be something that will impact their lives. If you have experienced a traumatic sexual experience and it impacted your life in a way that now you are obsessed about working in that area, you just can't get away from it. It's like you're drawn to it. Then you have this blueprint. Um, So you could be uh, obsessed about being a nurse or a doctor, obsessed about working with RAPE patients or RAPE like cases, or a social worker or even an advocate or a lawyer. Um, or you've had a strong desire to work as a webcam model in the area of sexuality. A strong desire to work as a webcam model or an escort or a stripper, dancer, a dominatrix, exhibitionist, or a voyeur. You don't have this. You don't have this disgust. You know, certain women just can't handle that. Like this, they'll be like, "Oh, I can't do that. I can't be like, I can't be a stripper. I can't be a webcam model. I can't do that. You know, they'll have this natural disgust about it, like they can't handle it. You never had that, even though you've had this experience, this traumatic experience. You've never had that, so you were kind of open to it. I know a lot of people who at university they did these things as a side job, um, and even after university, or even before university. So or even a masseuse, you know, things like that. You're drawn to doing things like that. You didn't have that like what would I call it? You didn't have that barrier in you to say that no, I can't. It almost felt like home to you, or it felt like a familiar thing that you would do. Um, I think I've said this one. As an adult, you keep getting drawn to teaching and working in the area of sexuality, and you don't know why. It's kind of like what I was talking about. It's kind of like me. I've been like trying to teach about other things, trying to work in other areas, trying to do other things. I've been running around this area about this thing in me for the past 4 years. When I actually got the message that this is what you should be teaching about, and because I've been scared about this, I've been distracting myself, doing other things, but I always come back to this. I always come back to teaching women about sexuality, teaching women about their bodies. I even when I started when I started TikTok, I was teaching women about relationships. But my very first videos were about sexuality. So I distracted myself to teach about relationships because I just could. That is not it. That is not it. That was just something that I distracted myself to do because I didn't want to talk about this because I was scared. I was terrified of the backlash and all those other things. But you know, when you have a calling, you just have a calling. You have to do it. So that's what I'm talking about. You may also have that in you. And if you have it in you and it's been there in you for a long time and it's not going away, I'm just telling you, it's not going to go away. It's not going to go away. You have to do it, you know, in one way or the other. It's not this doesn't mean that you have to do what I'm doing, like teaching about it, but you have to be doing something in that area. That's where your fulfillment is. That's where your wealth is. You may also have, no, not you may, you have strong Lilith and Scorpio placements in your birth chart. I don't know whether you guys have done your birth charts, but if you've done your birth chart, apart from most people know their sun signs. Some people may know their ascendant signs, but most people just know their sun signs. But if you do your birth chart, you will see strong Scorpio placements and strong Lilith placements. Lilith is a goddess, like, well, she's called as a demon. She's called the demon, the mother of demons, because of this, this trashing of sexuality. And Lilith is seen as the she's seen as the fallen woman. So that's how she's been she's been labeled as. You will have strong, like I said, you will have strong Lilith placements. You also have strong Scorpio placement. Or you could be a Scorpio and have more than 3-4 planets of Scorpio in your birth chart. Scorpio is also the sign of sexuality. Scorpio is the sign of the underworld, the sign of chaos, and all of these things. So if you have that in your chart, that's also a sign that you are meant to thrive in this area. The other thing is also you like flirting with men and being seductive, even if you are frightfully shy. So if you could be a shy woman, you could be somebody who's reserved even, but you secretly like being seductive. You like being seductive, you like flirting with men, or you have fantasies about it, about being good in it, good with it, that's also another sign that because why would you have that? Why would you have that specific thing? You like being in relationships. That's also another sign. You like being in relationships with multiple men, even when you're married. And this is where the rubber. It's not really. I wanted to say rubber meets the road, but that's not the right expression. This is one of the things that is so frowned upon. But I know a lot of married women who have a side dude somewhere, someone they talk to, someone they have sex with occasionally. Many of them come up with reasons like, my husband doesn't talk to me, so I talk to this guy, blah, 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 or whatever it is. But this draw for you to be with more than one man is also another sign. And a lot of women are not going to be honest about this because of the fear of persecution. They're not going to talk about this draw that they have to not just want to be with one man. This is something that we are more accepting of when it comes to men. But if you're a woman like this and you have this, like you have this draw to not just be with one man, this is one of the signs. You may have a secret fetish of being tied down and being raped by men, or you doing that to them, even being sadistic to them. This is also another sign that this is your this is a sign that you are meant to thrive in this area. I wanted to talk about this today because, like I said, the current world that we are in is not going to be accepting of who you are. It's not going to it's not going to embrace you as a person who is meant to be sexual, who is meant to anchor female sexuality on the planet, feminine creation power on the planet, because the world as it is against that. So, like I said, you will be misdiagnosed from day one. You will not understand why you are the way you are. And if you go to a psychologist or therapist or whatever, they are going to make you see it as a bad thing, the way you are, like as a matter of fact, even trying to shame you for it, shame you or make you feel like you shouldn't be like that. But if something is in you and it's always taking you back to the same thing, then that is a part of you. Even if you're not talking about it, even if you're ashamed of it, even if you're scared to talk about it, the draw that you have to sexuality is the sign that that's what you're supposed to be. That's what you are. Okay, so all of these signs, I think I named about 14 ways to tell. that you are blueprinted to thrive in this area. And I think I'm going to stop here. I don't want to say too much. I just want this woman that I'm talking to, and who knows that that this is who she is, to finally accept this part of you. Accept this part of you, and know that it is what it is. You know, you are here for a different purpose. You're not here to promote patriarchal ideals, and you are here to promote female feminine creation. You're supposed to anchor that on the planet. There's no way this planet can exist without that. So that's part of yours. There are a lot of women who are blueprinted in this way. But because of the shame we've had, the persecution we've had over centuries, they don't want to come out. It's difficult to come out because of this fear. But this is who you are. This is just who you are. And all of these things that I've mentioned, if you've joined me just now, the video will be on YouTube. This is who you are. You've been blueprinted. That's your blueprint, because these are the experiences you've had since you were a child. Other women don't have that experiences, those experiences. You talk to other women, they'll be like, I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't experience that. I didn't start masturbating when I was young. I never even masturbated. I don't like masturbating, or I've never been like promiscuous in that way. I've never been, drawn to sex and sexuality in that way. It was always like something that I was like an averse to, or like I was not drawn to it in the way you're talking about, So if you have that is your sign that this is what you're supposed to be. Because as a child, how would you know? Who told you about this? Your parents probably didn't tell you about this. Your parents didn't tell you how to be this person. So how did it happen? That's because that's who you are. That's who you are, and that's what you're supposed to be doing right now. And so this is for women who are like old, a little bit older, because I know it tends to come out in women when they're in their 30s, like in full force, in their 30s, going up to their 40s and beyond, because that's when the woman has lived a certain life, but she's never felt like this is mine. This is, like being married, but feeling like, I don't know whether this is my place, like feeling unsure about her place, or being in a job and never feeling like, I don't think I belong here. I'm good at this job. I'm kind of thriving in it because I'm good at it, but I don't feel like this is my home. Always having this, what is it? What is it? What is it? So it takes some time for you to get into this. So, okay, this is what it is. If you're watching me from TikTok, because this is a live video, TikTok doesn't kind of save these live videos, but I think I'll cut this video up and put them up. If you're watching me from YouTube, it will be up. Thank you so much, everyone, for all the hats. Today is Sunday. I know it's difficult. Some people are resting, but I just wanted to talk about this. Is there any question? Does anyone have any question about this? Or any contribution? Does anyone have does anyone relate to what I'm talking to? Or understand what I'm talking to at all? Oh, life restricted for some audiences. Okay. Which means, I think that means that TikTok is not going to share this, I think. See what I'm saying? This is what I experienced. I think I should stop talking about this. I don't know what I do this to myself, but this is it. If you're talking about female sexuality, TikTok and YouTube, they immediately like clamp down. Oh, hey, you can't be talking about this. You can't be talking. I don't understand. there are women online on the internet shaking their asses, doing all kinds of stuff, and that's okay. But if a woman is teaching about it, oh no, we can't have that. We can't have women teaching about sexuality. We can't have women teaching other women about their bodies, trying to empower them sexually. Oh no, 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 no. Clamp down on these bitches hard. Don't make them talk. We don't want these topics. Women talking about this. See our crazy morality that we have. This fear of women being sexual. This fear of women being like it's it's really anyway. That's why I'm going to OnlyFans. I'm going to OnlyFans to teach this there. OnlyFans will be open to me. So I'm just telling you guys now, if any one of you wants to follow me there, you can do that. But yeah, I think OnlyFans, yesterday I was thinking about this. Thinking about like, I think maybe it's time for me to go on the OnlyFans because I'm tired of being restricted. I don't like these restrictions. These like, you can't say this, you can't say that. I'm not even dancing or even showing my body or whatever. Other women are doing that. Other men are doing that. I'm on TikTok not all day, but most of the time, and I see all kinds of things. Those videos are not restricted. I'm talking to you, TikTok and the TikTok and YouTube. So I'm going to OnlyFans. OnlyFans will be open to talk to me talking about this. All right, okay. If you guys don't have any questions, then I will. Are you going? Am I single? Why? Where's my Ethan joined? Right. If you guys don't have any questions, then I will just get off and I will see you guys maybe tomorrow. I'll cut this video up and put them on. Where do I live? I live in Edinburgh. I live in Scotland, in Edinburgh, and my name is Fatoumata. I even forgot to say that. Okay, so before I forget, if you're watching me from TikTok, please subscribe to my TikTok channel. It's £10 per month. I will be doing some videos there. Those ones will be a little bit more private because there are things that I want to talk about with other women that are probably not for the consumption of the general public. If you're watching me from YouTube, please go to my profile. I have my Patreon link there. Go to Patreon and please subscribe to my Patreon. It's also £10 per month for all those like more private videos of my personal experiences as a young adult and even as a child. It's more convenient to talk about those things. I feel things that are a little bit more private for people that actually also have similar experiences. Thank you so much for the hearts. Thank you. Thank you. Lika. And that's my daughter. And okay, if you guys don't have any questions, then I will see you tomorrow. All right, bye. Thank you. Thank you for the hearts. Thank you. All right. Should I turn that off? All right. Thank you for joining me.